But we are just coming off of the set of the myth, the legend, the extremely intelligent Corvid, Crowfather. With some mutants, hiding in the sewers, trying to keep myself lucid. Fighting with the evil in my mind against the music. I wish that I wasn't classified as human. Cause I'm still riding with some mutants, hiding in the sewers, trying to keep myself lucid. How are you doing today after? I think you always kill it, but like the energy, the beats, the fact that you're not just lip syncing or just letting the instrument, but you're actually putting in so much effort on stage.
So like what like you're saying, how's it all?
Yeah, how is that all sitting with you?
Oh, good. Good. Oh yeah, it sits well. Beats are always important. I just pick things that I try to pick things that really hold on, like blues. For the certain songs, or even just kind of have rhythm to them, because it's like I want something that's groovy, even if I'm not like. There's a lot of times I'm not rapping about groovy things, but I'm rapping about like mental health, which is groovy.
Yeah.
And then as far as like, I like that you mentioned, actually performing. Yeah, that's I don't know what happened when people started rapping over vocals, but I want that trend to stop so bad, and so that's like part of why I refuse to like join that trend is like I'm always going to perform my stuff. I go just because, and also like I don't know, I guess I'm a pure hip hop head in that sense. Like part of hip hop to me growing up was like MCing. I was like, you had to be able to perform your stuff. You had to be able to control the crowd. And if you couldn't perform your stuff and you couldn't control the crowd, you couldn't rap. And so I don't know, it's one of those like no disrespect kind of. Like, yeah, it sounds really cool. Like every time I hear somebody that has like a really good set and they rap over the vocals the whole time, the first question that pops into my head is, I wonder how much better it would have sounded if they didn't though. Or if it was like they'd actually perform the songs, like actually performing, gave us a show. Yeah, and yeah, that's why I'm dripping. But I don't want that part of the craft to be lost. So I'm like stubbornly holding on to it. So even if it's like, and then part of the whole like, what if you messed up? What if you blah blah? Honestly, like some of my best memories as a young adult seeing hip hop shows was like hearing my like inspirations and my favorite artists like flub something and being able to recover from it.
Yeah.
Whether it was like mid song they do something different or they like mention it after the fact. Because it's like it's a song they've done for 20 years and they messed it up once, like he's gonna tell it. Like but it's like, I don't know. To me it's a more organic experience that way rather than just like you basically just passed that dude the aux cord for 30 minutes and he played his playlist on Spotify and then yelled into the mic the whole time. And so that's like I don't know, especially in mixed genre songs, especially in mixed genre shows like this. If I were to rap over my vocals after that incredible set that's Whole put on, I would be just a fool. Are you kidding? I would have for myself. I'd have no respect or integrity as an artist. I'd have to be like, yeah, I'm also a musician. Like, no, you gotta actually be able to perform yourself. But that, like, I don't know, it all kind of comes a different thing. Like, it comes together on stage. It's like, it's definitely different when I'm rehearsing it, but then when it comes together on stage, with hearing everything with the system, seeing people react to the beats before they even heard the lyrics, but also seeing people react to the lyrics over the beats.
Yeah.
Seeing that, occasionally a line kind of sparks a thought in somebody's head, and like watching that reaction happen is really cool. I don't know, yeah, but I also think you don't get that if you don't organically perform. Yeah. So, as tiring as it is, my day is actually better. Physically, I'm more exhausted, but mentally, I'm more awake now. And then, like, fighting that the whole way here. And then finally get here. And I was like, it's hot. And I was like, perking up. Then I hear all the music. I'm like, yeah, okay, this. And then it was like weird, like, after performing, I'm just like, I'm here now. So, thank you. Next one.
Yeah, and it's funny when you're talking about that organicness of live performance and seeing people mess up. You're right, because I think I'm flashing back to when I saw the band Pierce the Veil years ago, and there was a part where the bass player Jaime was like swinging, and he almost took their vocalist Vic's head off with his bass. They had to like, it was just like, oh, you're actual people.
Yeah, right.
And it's, as you're talking about not being afraid to mess up, so much of showmanship and confidence is that knowledge of what are the stakes,
Yeah.
as well as what am I supposed to do, and do I have the ability to make this work? And if this was, let's say, there was some person with a little pen, red pen and paper with just like, oh yeah, you messed up on this one word,
Yeah.
2 points off, can't play here again.
Right.
Where it sounds like you're able to actually see like, okay, my job here is the crowd engagement, to have fun, to perform, and me getting every single word right, every choreography
Right.
pointing at the crowd
Right.
isn't the purpose.
Right.
Not at all, because I feel like you have to be like when you rehearse, you're by yourself,
Mhm.
and you have, in my mind, like in order to prep for nights where nobody shows up, like that's I'm going to perform as if like I'm just rehearsing anyway,
Mhm.
and so it's like not worrying about it, but like knowing that I'm probably going to hit most of my words, and most of my cues or whatever if I have them, but then also knowing that like every stage is different, every scenario is different. Like with the time crunch tonight, cut a couple songs to save time. Like that's like, you know, stuff you can do, you can shift and curve, and it's nice because it's not always so rigid, it's so set. Because then that kind of like that mentality, to me at least, like helps take away from that difficulty. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess even off of that, with you putting so much intentionality and effort into your craft in the writing phase, the production phase, the rehearsal phase, the performance, how do you said you feel more energized after this. How do you avoid that crash and losing all love for the craft with the work that it's putting in?
That's a good question. I don't. It's like a weird kind of like persistence, where it's like it's not even a. I don't know. It's like mental health. It's weird. My brain at first was like, "Well, we don't want to. We need to."
Hmm.
And so like there's that part of it,
Yeah.
where it's like this is something that I've wanted for so long. Whether or not I make it doesn't necessarily matter to me anymore. It's just a matter of like having some kind of impact with the art that I make. Like, what is the purpose you're making art for?
Mhm.
And that's a big driver for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that would be. Yeah, I would say it's like it's more like I put so much time into it because it's like I very much. It keeps the love because I know that like somewhere at some point, it's going to impact somebody in a positive way.
Mhm.
Like I've had the fortune of having someone tell me that my music helped like keep their head above water, and that to me is incredible. Because that's the reason I really started rapping about the real stuff, and then also to like jump off of that, having a real content matter and the raw things like that, and like having the audacity to perform my things live is like because I want that rawness of it.
Mhm.
I don't want you here and in the fight to hear like the live version of me on top of the recording, because like the live version is going to sound different. Like, you know, there might be certain days where it's like one of these songs is going to hit a lot harder than the other songs just because that day I'm feeling it. You know, that day it hits me. So that's like that keeps me going a lot. Is knowing that there's something, like there's something in it, and that people are reacting to it is like a big deal. I don't know. I just it's hard. It's hard to like. How do you say happy with it? Because like I've always loved it, and I will always love it. And it's like there are the times where I felt so downtrodden that it was like I tried to give it up, and my mental health just went to shit. And so I was like, I've always loved it. There's just been times where I've been like in denial about that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm curious with that almost marriage between the music and your own mental health. What was your favorite song that you performed tonight?
Um, probably my newest one, Unburdened. I'm always moving on to new things, but I like that one because it's such nice to air some like well, it's just to say it's like letting shit go, and it's like it's specific, but it's not like there might be one or two or a few people that might glean some kind of hidden meaning from it, but for the most part, it's speaking in general stories because it's just it's expressing an emotion, expressing of different feelings of neglect, betrayal, abandonment, stuff like that. That's kind of unburdening about that, where it's like it came from a place of like always being the bigger person and then wanting to like have a moment to be like I'm still the bigger person, but these things hurt.
Yeah.
Kind of. So like that, or I would say Mutants, just because Mutants is like that was one of those songs that I wrote where it was like, yeah, it's talking about depression, but at the same time, there's so much resilience in that song. Just because it's like it's one of the first songs where I feel like I owned it in a lighthearted way. Where it's like, yeah, like it's still different. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know the turtles, they meditate. I'm the type to dissociate. I daydream on my better days. Most of the time it feels like escape. I just wake up every day.
Yeah, for sure. Like every time you play it, it's always interesting where I feel like it's one of the few things where it really captures the spirit of the Ninja Turtles, like with the vibe and the bounciness of it, but it almost lends to the seriousness of it with that blend of, like you said, the real stuff with the fun elements of what keeps you going, kind of almost married on the beat, on the turntables, on the stage. Yeah, as you're coming off of this show, where can people find you? Or can people find you? Where is Crowfather flying presently?
You can always join the murder at Crowfather MPLS on all socials or crowfathermpls.com to see what shows are coming up. Right now I'm hosting a monthly poetry night and open mic with featured artists at Modest. That's called Crafted Cadence. It's the third Tuesday of every month. That's highly recommend coming to that. We have some amazing people on that. And then I also have a show at Modest on for the night before the state fair. So that'll be exciting too. Other than that, I mean, I'm around. I'm always trying to come out, see new shows, meet new artists, collaborate, all that stuff.
I asked. Okay, well, I have that on my calendar now. Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming out, and at least I will be catching you next month at Modest.
We can give your brain a vacation. We can grow. Really ain't all that complicated. Don't you know? I'm hurting for some home like a vagrant. Anything to keep these verses at bay, yeah. All the murder these verses. All the murder these. For when the murder emerges. Every word in my verbiage.